Hey, and welcome to Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode.
Hey, and welcome back to the Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Turo Virta, and today we are diving into a super common and frustrating topic. Why am I eating healthy but still not losing fat? So you are doing the work, making better choices, eating cleaner, and maybe even exercising more than before. And yet the scale won't change. Your clothes still feel the same, and you are wondering, what am I doing wrong? First, take a deep breath, because you are not broken, you are not failing, and definitely you are not alone. In this episode, we are going to unpack why eating clean doesn't guarantee fat loss, how portion sizes and calorie creep sneak in, what metabolic adaptation really means, and why strength training is the key. And a very, very overlooked point, why the scale doesn't move at first, even you are doing everything right. So let's break it down. So first, why that clean eating doesn't guarantee fat loss. So here is the honest truth. So healthy food can still make you gain weight. And you can absolutely overeat on clean food. So to say what you are calling clean, you are... because especially in cases when you are not measuring your portion sizes accurately. So let's say you are eating some maybe fruits or granola with some yogurt for breakfast. You are having avocado toast for lunch, salmon with olive oil and quinoa for dinner, and a few handfuls of nuts as snacks. So all those are great food choices, but they can be easily over 2,500 calories depending on the portions. So this is very common, and fat loss, because the fat loss is all about energy balance. So it matters if you are eating healthy, but if your goal is solely to lose fat, it's all about that energy balance. So if you are consuming more than your body burns, even if it's clean, organic and nutrition rich, you won't lose fat. And that is one of the biggest mistakes I see. And what you can actually do it, what I often recommend is that even you don't think it like tracking your calories, food intake. It's a tool. What you could be using, it doesn't mean that you have to use it always, because it's, I know it takes some time, it takes some energy, and the ultimate goal for most people is to use it as a tool and not as not a diet, because it's not tracking your calorie intake is not a diet. So how to actually, it's just a tool to actually learn from your current habits. And then when you are seeing, you learn about your portion sizes, you learn about foods you are eating on daily basis. It's a tool what you can use that information. And once you have it visible, you see it somewhere, like even you think that, oh, you are eating healthy, you make better choices than before. But once you learn and see it visibly, how many calories you are actually eating, how your portion sizes are, then it's easy to make some adjustments. And those adjustments are usually so small that you don't even feel that you are doing something. It could be like in a real life examples could be to changing some nuts, or eating still nuts, maybe a bit less, and adding something. What is, for example, now in summertime, my favorite snack is watermelon. Like it's very low in calories, a lot of volume, so it makes you feel fuller, but you are just eating less calories. Or just looking those portion sizes, and especially learning from foods you are eating on daily basis, because for most people, I don't think I work with any person, or very few of them, who doesn't know what healthy options, that they are not making maybe the right decisions, and they think that now, I have to be stricter, I have to get more willpower, I have to just stick into that plan. And then when you don't do it for some occasions, you are eating something more than you know that you shouldn't, and you have that kind of feeling failure, and then you go off track for whole weekend. Often one meal is turning into a bad day or bad weekend, and then overall you get into that trap of aiming for being perfect. And when you can't be perfect, then you are like, that what is the point of doing it? I will restart in next Monday, or next week, or next month, or even next year. So that is the biggest miscommon and mistake what I see. And it's just the thing, it like that. What I often recommend for my clients, especially who are starting, is to become more aware what you are currently doing, how many calories you are eating, and then just taking it that it's if it's for at least for a couple of days, usually weekend included. And it's not often, it's not especially weekends, when you know that now you are not on your perfect, you are not making perfect choices. So then you think that now I just don't track it, but just try to be honest with yourself, and also track your weekends. So you see that, because it might be that you are perfectly on a spot during the week from Monday to Thursday, and then usually maybe Friday afternoon or evening, you are thinking, now I deserve something. And then you go overboard, you eat a bit more. And that could be a reason that in a weekly basis, you might be perfectly in a balance and in a big deficit during the week, but then that weekend is kind of ruining your whole progress. And maybe if you are aiming for what I call sustainable progress, is if you are like more or less 500 calorie deficit, depending of course on your starting weight, your goals. But let's say that is your calorie deficit for the first 4 days, and you are in minus 2000 in a week. And then during the weekend, you might be a bit more, like eating a bit more, having a little bit more freedom. And in the end, you are in a positive energy balance, or on a maintenance. So you are eating, let's say it's during the 3 days, you are in a slight surplus, you are eating plus 500 calories. So your weekly calorie deficit is 1500. You are still in a deficit, but the amount of progress you can expect to see is a half kilo or 1 pound of fat is around 3500 calories. So with this speed, you would end up losing half kilo in every 2-3 weeks, instead of every single week, or on average like 4 pounds or 2 kilos in a month. It might be half kilo or 1 kilo per month. And it feels frustrating, because you are thinking that you are trying so hard, because you are on spot on from Monday to Thursday, but then that weekend is kind of ruining your whole progress. So this is just reminder that actually those calories matters. And if you are not sure, try to track them, because eating clean doesn't always guarantee that you are losing fat. Or even if you are losing, then you have to accept that what is realistic progress. Then second most common mistake is where most people go wrong without realizing it. So you are thinking that you are eating normal portions, but our modern plates, restaurant sizes, and habits often are not, they are screwing it. So just example. So you are taking a tablespoon of peanut butter. It's not that actually the serving size, if you are not tracking it with like actually in a food scale, or like especially in the US, like portion sizes, they don't write amount of calories, they write about serving sizes and tablespoon. If you actually measure it, how much is tablespoon, it might be that it's 15 grams. So if you take 15 grams, which should be tablespoon, but I don't see any person who is taking a tablespoon, because tablespoon, if you take something delicious like peanut butter, it's like a big tablespoon. And then you think that you took only 1 tablespoon, but it actually, the serving size, if it's 15 grams, it might be 35 grams. So you are eating actually 2 tablespoons. So those are kind of like tracking mistakes, what I often see if you are not using food scale. So, or if you think that serving of rice is half cup cooked rice and it's not full bowl. So what about, or then, for example, protein bar, you are seeing that, okay, there might be 20 grams of protein, but it also has over 300 calories. So, and especially with the protein bars, you are seeing those marketing food labels, they are often so misleading. So you are seeing that, oh, it's a protein bar. But if you look actually ingredients, calories, what is inside of that protein bar, you might see that this is actually just another candy bar. And there might be a little bit more protein, but calories are exactly the same that you would take some candy bar. So just pay attention. And like I said, fixing this would require to actually learn about them, trying to track accurately, using food scale always when it's possible. Of course, I know that most of you who are listening are in situations that it's not possible to use food scale every time, but even you do it as accurately as you can, it gives you tools, it gives you an idea, awareness, what you are actually doing. And when you have a chance to measure your food intake with actual food scale, you are learning so much about your portion sizes. So, and other things, what is affecting, what often most people are overlooking, is that you are tasting a little bit just there. If it's good while you are cooking, you are finishing your kids' leftovers, or you are drinking your latte with milk and syrup. You didn't track, or you forgot to track, you didn't think about, or you are eating some French fries and adding there some mayonnaise or ketchup or anything like that. And you forget, or here in Italy, when we eat some pasta, you add a little bit Parmesan cheese on top of it, which is, of course, I don't say that those things are not okay, but you also do not forget to track them or add them into your app, because those calories count as well. And often those kind of small mistakes, like especially when we are repeating those kind of things several times per day, and you forgot to add every single time, like let's say that it's 30 calories in your breakfast, it's 50 calories for your lunch, maybe some licks and bites while you are cooking, finishing your leftovers. So it could be easily 300-400 calories in a day. And the point is that those things are adding up. Even one time it might feel that it doesn't, it's a small thing, it doesn't make big difference. But in a long term, that could be actually reason that you are not in a deficit, even you think you are. So these are kind of all most common tracking mistakes. And then there is a kind of third mistake, what I often see, especially with the women over 30, 35, 40, and that is that metabolic adaptation. And it's a real thing. So it's a little bit different than starving mode. But if you are someone who have been dieting for a long time, eating less, doing maybe lots of cardio, your body is going to adapt. So it's not that starvation mode famous, what by the way doesn't exist, but it's just that your body is adapting, and that is called metabolic adaptation. So it's your body's way of protecting you. So you might have a signs like you will have a low energy, you will have a poor sleep, you will have constant cravings, You will no more see fat loss despite low calorie intake. And it doesn't mean that your metabolism is broken. It's just a sign that your body is actually smart and trying to survive. And this is where, if you are in that kind of situation that you doubt, that was often like there is nothing wrong with your metabolism. And but if you have been dieting for decades, you have been doing several yo-yo diets in your life, and every time, especially for women over 40, you might be in a situation that this have worked for you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or even longer time ago, and now the same things that used to work doesn't work anymore. And this is where reverse dieting comes in. It's strategic to actually, it means that you are strategically increasing your calories to rebuild your metabolism and energy before entering another fat loss phase. So I'm not going to go deeper about reverse dieting. I check out my episode. I had it. I have several episodes about reverse dieting, and check out my episodes. So if you are in that situation, so just at least you know where to get started, how to actually do it. So just check my episodes. I have one recent one. I have a few of with my clients who have actually went through this, so they tell with their own words how it felt, and what action steps they actually took, and how mentally challenging it is to think that, especially for someone who wants to lose weight, and you think that solution is eating less, doing lots of cardio, burning more calories, creating bigger calorie deficit. And when someone is telling you that you actually, to reach your goal, you should start actually eating more, and probably even doing less cardio. So it sounds like that, no, this is a crazy idea, Turo. Thank you. I trust you. You are a nice guy, but no way I'm going to start eating more. But this is actually a solution which have been a solution for so many people I have worked with. And that is probably the scariest thing you have ever done, especially if you have been trying several diets. But this is because ultimately you have two options. You can either, if despite eating less and moving more, you could be trying to increase that eating even less and moving even more, which would mean even lower energy, even poorer sleep, having even more cravings. And often that solution is that it's not going to be in long term very sustainable, or not going to work, because it goes on and on this same cycle. So imagine that everything works. You are in a short term, you are able to see results. But then what then next? If you still say that, you have last 5 kilos, 10 pounds to lose, and you would still need to do it like in this old traditional way. And if that is not sustainably anymore possible, then reverse dieting and strategically eating more comes in. And then mistake number 4, what I see is that is actually water retention. And this one is so important. So I see it every time, like especially with the women starting new routine. So it means like that you have clean up your eating, you are working out, maybe even strength training, but the scale either stays the same or even goes up, and you feel so frustrated. And here is what's actually happening. So when you are starting strength training or increase your activity, your muscles retain more water to repair and adapt. And this is normal. This is actually a good sign. But it means that you might not see immediate weight loss, even though your body is already changing. So, and this is very, very common, especially in the beginning for someone who have been relatively inactive, starting new workout routine, and thinking like that, what is actually happening? So let's say that you are already losing fat, you are making progress, but the scale stays the same. Your clothes might feel the same. You are not, maybe there is some little changes, but you think that they should be a lot more because your expectation, maybe they come from your friends, from social media. And the honest truth is that if you compare yourself with, I don't know where you get those expectations from, but if you use social media, those platforms, they know your insecurities. They know you better probably than you know yourself. So they know exactly what to show you, what is interesting you. So you are spending more time in social media, and that again leads that you have your expectations are not very realistic. So that is because then when you know that what is actually good amount of progress, what is a normal amount. And so if you, like, let's say this is one of the examples I use, like if you see these before after pictures, by the way, which I'm not a big believer of posting, or I don't like to post them. I probably should, if I would be some marketing guy, I should post a lot more amazing and or even realistic before after pictures. But that is like the exact reason why I'm not actually doing it, because I feel like that so many people are feeling only worse about themselves, because when you start to compare yourself with someone else's situation, so in those before after pictures you don't see what kind of how is their stress, how is their sleep, do they have children or not, or there are so many factors that are impacting on your progress, and comparing yourself with someone else, it's not very smart strategy for me. But coming back to the point, so what actually also is happening? Why you are not, or why some people are not losing weight in the beginning? Because it also like that your digestive system needs time to adjust. Because probably when you are cleaning up your diet, it means that you are probably eating more fiber, more protein, and you are eating more regular meals. So that can also add some temporary weight and bloating. So, but here is the thing. If you are eating well, training consistently, and sleeping enough, your body is changing. So it just takes time to show up visibly. And for some people, that takes 2 to 4 weeks. For another, it takes 6 to 8 weeks or even more. So please do yourself a favor and don't give up or think that the thing what I'm doing is not working, because the scale is so slow. So your body is working with you, not against you. Mistake number 5 is that is a question what I asked. Are you doing some kind of strength training? And with strength training, I mean resistance training. It could be lifting weights. It could be using resistance training with your either body weight, using bands. There are so many ways to do it. So cardio is great. So it's great for your heart, your mental health, and general movement. But if fat loss and body composition are your goals, strength training is essential. So especially for women over 35, 40, strength training helps you to preserve lean muscle. So let's say that you are going to another, if weight loss, like for many of my clients, what they tell that the weight loss is the only goal. They need to get into a certain amount of weight. But if you, like, the best example is that where you want to lose that weight. That if I would, like, it's the most stupid or radical example, you would cut another arm off. You would have only one arm. If you still have two, obviously, but you would probably lose little weight from your arm. But would you be happier? No. And if you are eating in a calorie deficit, so you are eating less than you consume, it means for your body, if you think not just in your mind, but for your body. So there is, you are creating negative energy balance. So you are losing some tissue, but your body, and for you, of course, you would like to lose that. It's only fat that what is bothering you. And you think that, it's, of course, it's fat, but for your body doesn't care. It's going to be some tissue. So it's going to be fat or muscle. And for many women, in this situation. They are eating in a deficit, even in a big deficit. So you are seeing a relatively quick fat loss progress. But if you don't pay attention to your protein intake, your strength, if you are not doing strength training, so you might lose. Okay, let's say you lose 5 kilos, you lose 3 kilos of fat, 2 kilos of muscle mass. And actually that makes things a lot harder in future. And your situation didn't get actually better despite you lost a good amount of weight in the scale, but it means also in the future, when you lost that lean muscle, it makes things harder. So, and of course, it means that your metabolism is going to be lower. Maintaining that new lower weight is going to be harder because you lost muscle mass, and your maintenance calories, where you are able to maintain your weight, is going to be even lower. So it means that if earlier, let's say that you were maintaining with 2,000 calories, now you might need 1,009, 1,008, and that sounds like it's not that big difference, but trust me, that is a huge difference. So strength training supports your metabolism. It's improving your bone density, which, by the way, declines rapidly after menopause, up to 20% bone loss, and reducing that when you are strength training and maintaining your muscles or even building them up, it's going to reduce that half kilo to 1.5 kilo of typical weight gain for most women experience per year during this at this age. So this is often that weight what is like kind of creeping. You don't even see. You see that after 5 years you gained maybe 2.5, 5 kilos, 7.5 within that time. So it's not that it's all of a sudden, but it's kind of creeping during these metabolic adaptations. And how you are then actually doing this strength training. So you don't need to train 5 days a week. This is by far the most common mistake. So just 2, even 1, not more than 3. For most people, like 2 to 3 full body sessions with compound movements like squats, deadlifts, rows, push-ups, lunges is more than enough. So often what I say that with 1 time per week, you are maintaining everything. Even if you are a beginner, you are even making some progress. But then if you are able to add it up to 2 to 3 sessions, you are going to build actually. And it makes things a lot easier. Even during the activity, during the strength training, you don't need as many calories as you would need in doing some intense cardio, which feels obviously great. But in the long term, it's not the solution. And don't get me wrong, I don't say that you shouldn't do cardio at all. It's just the ways of thinking for most people, who think that now I start to get running, and the honest answer is no, you shouldn't need. So in strength training, you should use that actually challenge you and progressively overload. So meaning gradually increasing either reps or weights over time. So last part, I want to bring all this, what we talked, together. So let's recap the most common reasons you are not seeing fat loss, even eating clean. So number 1 was that you are eating too much of the right foods. So you are eating healthy, but you forget that calories still count. So number 2 was the portion sizes. So you are going to you think you don't know exactly, you don't measure exactly what you are eating, you forget to track some things. So solution for this, like first 2 points, is actually to track for a few days to check and become more aware. Number 3 was metabolic adaptation. So if you have dieted hard for months or years, it might be time to use reverse dieting as a tool. And number 4, if you just started training, your body is holding water while making already adaptations, which you don't see. So that's why take pictures, take tape measurements, and not use only scale measuring your progress. And number 5 is that you are not strength training and therefore not building or maintaining that lean tissue. The solution isn't to panic, cut carbs, or double your workouts. The solution is to stay the course, make strategic tweaks, and focus on consistency, not perfection. So if today's episode gave you an aha moment, or if it helped take some pressure off, share it with a friend or leave a quick review. Those reviews are really helping the podcast grow. And I would really, really appreciate and want to thank you at this point for all those who have already done the review. And if you need help figuring out your next step, maybe you are stuck in a plateau or unsure if you should reverse diet or train differently, reach out. Send me a message in my Instagram at personaltrainer_Turo, or check out my website. I will put link to show notes and we can have a quick chat if we are good match to work together. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, you are not broken. You are just getting started. Talk to you next week.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.